What's up, YouTube? This is Black Boss 91 coming to you with another Bleach chapter commentary, chapter 563. And in this chapter, we have Superstar versus Renji. And from last week, we saw Renji give him a cut right through the stomach. And we see in this week, blood oozing out of him. Now, like I said from last week, either he would be dead or continue to fight. And I didn't think Kubo was going to kill him off until he shows off his holy form, and we get to just that. Is that in this chapter, we see Superstar, he actually starts to close up his own wound, and he calls out to James. Now, I thought the same thing from last week too, that, maybe James might be dead, but the thing is, we don't really know his ability. Well, we kind of get to see what James can do in this chapter, is because last week he gets sliced in half and he's still alive, and this week he's still alive in pieces. So he seems like some type of multiplying anatomy type of creature, that when you destroy him in multiple pieces, he actually starts to multiple parts start to grow from his body, and he starts to reattach himself. That's what I think one of his abilities is. He's just like this kind of enigma that comes together, but can stay alive through several damage. I'm thinking he needs to be destroyed completely, like eradicated, almost like how in Dragon Ball Z, Kid Buu, in order to completely destroy him, you have to use the Spirit Bomb to annihilate all of him, his atoms, everything, the smoke, everything. So that's why I think that has to be dealt with James, because he's still alive and he's cheering Superstar on. He's cheering Mask, and Mask he freaking goes to his max power, and his chest, everything blows out, and he rips like most of his shirt, and Renji's just like, wait a minute, what? Like, you're still alive? Like, this is just crazy. And the thing about Mask, like I said with him, is that I liked him because of James. James actually made him funny. James, this little, his side character, his audience to cheer him on, and we could see that he can make multiple James of himself. If you dismember him, he'll separate into little parts, and he's so much into this hero act, and I have to give it to Mask, because he is doing some damage. Once he gets into his final form, he actually remembers Renji. He finally remembers that he gave him an ass whooping from before, but since he's a superstar, he doesn't worry about little lower class citizens. So what I liked in this chapter with Mask is that he has this technique called the 1 mile art, and these moves allow him to attack his enemies from 1 mile. Like, he does the Star Lariat, Naruto Rakage. Come on now, gotta get that freaking Killer Bee. What else? He does a barrage of Star Fists, hitting Renji into several buildings, destroying them. Renji can't even regain his composure after all these onslaughts of attacks. But then we see again, he goes into his final form once he fully powers up, in which I actually like. It's not that bad. The wings, kind of like a cape, the star chest piece, and also plate. And he makes like a star shape, and he does Star Flash Supernova, and he tells him, a superstar can never die, and he hits Renji with this technique and creates like a star-shaped impact throughout the entire city. And I know, right? It looks like Renji in this chapter, Renji did not have the upper hand in the battle, but we know that Renji's become much stronger. Kubo was not going to let him die to Mask in this chapter. And at the very end of the chapter, we see Renji, he's within the smoke, and I had to read the chapter a couple of times to kind of like figure out the display of the last panel. But through the smoke, it's covering his either Zanpakuto or Bankai, and you could kind of see like the outline of the eye within the smoke, and if you look closely, you can see like his weapons is on like his arm, I believe, and like you see the teeth and the blade mark. You have to look very closely, but you can kind of see his Zanpato or Bankai right there. But overall, that was a good chapter. I've actually saw a couple of pictures like before that. If you read on my stream, when you go through I believe the third page, there's like this picture. What's her name? Oh my god, I forgot what's her name, but I think she was either an Espada or an Arrancar. The little girl with the green hair that can transform to older woman. Oh my god, lovely picture. Racks on racks, shit, everything perfect. And there's if you search online, you can find like a picture of the last panel of Renji colored, eyes glowing red. The smoke looks badass. But I thought this was a really good chapter. We see Mass holy form. We learn more about James, that he's hard to kill. I'm thinking, I'm calling this, but I'm thinking that maybe Renji needs to destroy both James and Master Masculine with like a final blast attack to basically obliterating both of them, so that none of them could come back. Because maybe if Mass is alive, James can still be alive, or if James is alive, then Mass can be alive. Like they work hand in hand. They're cohesive with each other. But I'm thinking maybe if you destroy them completely, that eradication, that you will finally defeat them. I think the battle between Renji and Mass might last about 1 to 2, maybe 3 more chapters, and then afterwards it'll go into the next battle. But this is a good chapter to end off on the year. Kuro did an amazing job with this whole arc for this year. I think it was wonderful. And to those that's watching this, a happy holidays if you're checking this out later. But rate, comment, subscribe to my channel, and this is Black Boss 91 signing out.